Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, we'll be discussing my thoughts on episode 8 of the anime series Shokugeki no Soma, Nino Sara, or the Second Plate. And this was definitely an interesting episode, much as I speculated, kind of a filler, but we're getting inside the mind of Soma, spending a lot more time with him in this episode as he's trying to perfect what exactly he's going to do in this upcoming final round of the autumn elections. And it's all about the fish, man. You know, the sauri. And this episode made me realize just how often we hear the term umami in the recipe concoctions. I'm sure we've heard that word like every single episode multiple times, talking about the flavoring and everything like that. And it's just like umami, umami, umami all over the place. In this particular case, it's umami and sauri, sit in a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G, as far as Soma is concerned. He and Megumi, it was really cool seeing a little more Megumi for a change as well. You know, both of them going to the fish market at the crack of dawn to try to get a crack, no pun intended, at the freshest sauri they can. And of course, they run into Alice and Rio, who are doing the same thing. And Rio has been making this, you know, like his work. You know, he's been going there daily, every day, to try to be able to pick up on by, you know, touch and smell and the look and all this kind of stuff of what is going to be the freshest, firmest sauri they can use for his, you know, concoction in this final round of the autumn elections. And it's interesting, he kind of hands Soma his ass as far as getting a really firm, fresh fish. You know, like both of them, it's almost like a mini Shokugeki. They go up against each other, and Soma thinks he's got it in the bag, but he doesn't. And I really liked that aspect of this episode. The two major factors of this episode that really impressed me and really kept me attuned to it were first, Soma's, you know, sort of lacking confidence, if you will, kind of. He's not like, you know, he's not really lacking confidence. It's more a matter of he knows that this is a stopgap in his journey, his quest to win the day and beat these two opponents upcoming. And he's falling short. He knows he's falling short of their talents and their perceptibility because, of course, we find out Akira has also been making a habit of coming to the fish market. And by scent alone, he can tell what the freshest sauri are without even looking at them. And he so impresses, like, you know, a woman, the fish market woman who's selling the fish and everything. And she's saying, you know, oh, I guess the young hotties have all the talent, that kind of thing. Something along those lines. But it's intriguing to see that Soma is really understanding, okay, I have to up my game. I have to get inside the mind and the talent and the knowledge that these two opponents have, that they have the upper hand on me unless I can crack that code. And there's a point where I loved, you know, the second aspect that most impressed me about this episode was that we got to see more of the Polar, you know, Star Dormitory characters. Basically, Soma goes to each of the ones who has a talent in understanding aging of meats and that kind of thing from different approaches, whether it be refrigeration or you know, leaving it out to cure and all this kind of stuff. And I love that he employs all of these characters. I almost wish this had been stretched over 2 episodes, but it might have been probably milking it a little too much in his trying to figure out how to age this sauri and how to make it really firm and tasty and all that kind of stuff. And seeing Nikumi coming in there, you know, once again, I love that she is kind of like the embarrassed Tsundere, even, you know, sort of cheerleader for Soma. She's imparting Megumi with the words, you know, let him know that he can call me anytime. And I just loved that. You know, she's such a cheerleader for her, but she's so embarrassed about it and all this kind of stuff. It's absolutely adorable to me, making me just like her that much more. But Megumi is the one who's brass tacks. She's like, well, you've done really good at, you know, aging this meat, bringing out the umami and the flavor and all that kind of stuff, but it's still not quite as good as what Rio did the day before, or whatever it was, or earlier that morning. As far as tastiness and firmness and all this stuff, Rio's still got a leg up on him. And Soma's really just desperately, like, I mean, he's staring into a cooler with the fish. He's just staring at the fish, like, what do I need to do here? What can I possibly do? And, of course, you have the old lady, the granny from the dormitory, being yet another character who I'm glad we got to see again. And she is integral into giving Soma whatever it is. You know, like he sees what looks like cocktail wieners or something, and like maybe crackers. I forget exactly what was on the table when she's like calling out to him, "Oh, why the long face? You know, what's got your goat?" And he sees something she's snacking on. Maybe it was the sake, but I don't know. 'Cause she's drinking late night sake and everything. I don't know what exactly it was that he caught wind of in looking at everything she had laid out on the table, but suddenly he's got an idea. And like by the end of the episode, I mean, when they're revealing their fish, Dojima basically is, you know, one of the three judges on the panel, the elder Nakiri as well, and you have them saying, well, let's see the fish before we get to actually cooking it. And of course, you know, Ryo and Akira, they both have uber fresh fish. And they look even, you know, like their firmness resembles swords, as far as some of the judges are concerned and some of the audience is concerned. And that's pretty epic. And I'm like, well, what's Soma going to do here? And he pulls out what at least looks to my eye like maybe he breaded it, maybe he's planning on frying it or something like that. I have no idea. It definitely did not look gleaming in silver like, you know, the saori that Akira and Ryo had pulled out. So I don't know what his plan is exactly. I'm not proficient enough in, you know, culinary knowledge to have a clue along those lines. But then, you know, another foot drops by the end of the episode with Leanora, la 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 Leanora, la 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 Leanora. Apparently Alice's mother is going to be the third judge, and she's pointedly going after Soma as far as, you know, you made my daughter lose, you know, you beat my daughter. If your fish don't taste ample and supple and yummy and all this stuff, I'm gonna be mad angry. I guess she's speaking in, you know, broken Japanese or something, because what does she say? She's like Danish or I don't know, yeah, tasty dish more like. But I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. You know, I couldn't recall if we'd actually met this character before. I think she was reminding me of a female judge that crops up toward the end of the first season of Shokugeki no Soma, because they kind of made a big deal about that character as well. And I don't remember, you know, what her name was or anything. It was so long ago. But like, I don't think we've seen Leanora before, and it seemed like Alice made a big stink about the fact, oh, Mom, you should tell me when you're going to be in town, you know, that kind of thing. And of course, like mommy, like daughter, they're both kind of poking fun at, you know, Rino over there when she's all ticked off about her moods and whatever like that. So that was funny. But, I mean, again, touching base on what really drew me into this episode was Soma's really backpedaling internally, understanding what his limitations were. You can have confidence in yourself and yet still be aware of, you know, what your limitations are. And in a way, that's kind of how you are best equipped to learn and go beyond those limitations, because you have to be aware of, you know, where your knowledge ceases, you know, and that way you can take steps forward beyond that point of no return in a sense. As well as, again, the characters, being able to see Soma interacting with Megumi a little more. She's such a worrywart about Soma, you know, what he's going to do in this final match. And you have all of his friends, you know, that he gets together to help him understand the aging process. And just seeing him interacting with some of the Polar Star characters again, it was really awesome. And Ishiki in clothes, finally, he's actually clothed and he's announcing the judges and everything. They're like, oh, you can't even like recognize him with clothes on. And I didn't. I didn't at first, until they, you know, pointed that out. But I can't wait to see what is going to happen in this final, you know, sort of battle in the autumn elections. I do have to wonder, because we still have, you know, a small handful of episodes left, if they're going to stretch this final round out. And I can't really conceive of how they might do that unless they spend, you know, I hope they're not going to spend an episode each on each character's preparation. I would think at the most maybe you'll get like Ryo and Akira's preparations for their dishes, and then cliffhanger, and then we'll get Soma's in the, you know, following episode, and then see who wins, that kind of thing. And like, I have no idea who will win. Of course, I'm always banking on Soma, But it's as I said in a previous episode discussion video, and this episode kind of brought that to the fore. You know, Soma, it's very intriguing to see how confident he is, but I like the explorations of when he reaches, you know, sort of hurdles like this, where he doesn't necessarily have all there is, you know, at his hand to beat the day, to win the day. He needs to learn more. He needs to grow and evolve beyond his current understanding. And I like exploring that. And I like that we got a taste of that, a flavor of that, if you will, in this episode. And so, yeah, I enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of this episode as well, if you've seen it. And again, I really wasn't interested at all in the technical aspects, the preparation of the fish. It was more about seeing these characters coming together and celebrating their working together, that kind of thing. And seeing Soma really internally trying to reach a new horizon within himself in this upcoming competition. Anything goes in the comments below. Love it or hate it. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.